Welcome back to episode 2 of Know Thyself. Your soul's destiny is completely different than your human destiny. So let me explain that. The human destiny, the form, is housing your soul. It's housing the energy of your soul. It's really hard to explain, but it's not like your soul is like, just popped itself in here and there it is, right? It's housing the energy of your soul. And the most important part of your body that is hosting the energy of this soul is the heart. The heart center, or the heart chakra, is directly connected to conversations and communications with the soul. So this second episode of the series of 10, Know Thyself, we're going to focus on the heart center, the soul, the human, and the humanness of us is here in the mind. We always want to bring that into coherence. There's a great exercise you can do for 3 minutes called heart math. I'm certified in that. And heart math is a breathing exercise that's been studied in California called the Heart Math Institute. And all you have to do is do this once, 2, 3 times a day for 3 minutes. That's it. There's another one that you can do as well, but this one I find really simple. And all you do is you breathe in for 4 seconds, and you breathe out for 4 seconds through your nose, if you can. If not, through your mouth. And you breathe with your diaphragm. And you do this for 3 minutes. Minimum 3 minutes. You can do it for 4 minutes if you want. 4 seconds out, 4 seconds in for 3 minutes. And while you're doing that, you think of something or someone that makes you happy. It could be something in the past, present, future. It could be your puppy dog. You could be looking at a beautiful piece of nature. You can think of yourself. You can think of something in the past. You can think of somebody. But when that happens, that thinking process, you feel this little flutter in your heart. You want to feel that. And then you take the thought out of your head and just concentrate on the feeling while you're breathing in and out for 3 minutes at 4 seconds in and out at a time. It's called heart math. You can take a look at the research. So with that being said, we want to keep that heart and soul and the mind, body in coherence. And we're constantly navigating and re-navigating, calibrating and recalibrating, calculating and recalculating, mapping and remapping. We're constantly doing this. It's an ebb and flow. It's just like energy. If anyone knows anything about electricity or energy, it's going like this. It goes up and down, up and down. That's how energy frequency flows. Up and down, up and down, up and down. It doesn't just go flatline. Okay? You think about your heart. Goes, if you look at a heart monitor, it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. And a cardiologist wants to see the consistency of that up and down, that it's equal, that's consistent, because that means it's healthy. And that's what you want to do with your life. You want your soul, heart, and your mind, brain to be consistent, constantly navigating the path of your life together. Now, yeah, sometimes it's going to be too much here. And some people are more too much here. When I work with my clients, people that have got a lot of water in their chart, some people that have too much air in their chart, where they're reactive. This can be where they're too much in their heart center. Even fire, such as Leo, can be very much in their heart center quite a bit. Taurus can be very much in their heart center quite a bit, as well as Cancer and Scorpio and Pisces. All of these can very much be trapped in the heart center. And then the rest of you are up in here a lot. Now, remember, I do Sidereal astrology. So you may think you're a Virgo, but you're really a Leo. And also remember that it's not about your sun sign. It's about your moon sign. It's about your ascendant and your Mercury and your Venus and your Mars and how they interact with each other. So if you go to astro.com, for an example, and you find that you have a lot of minor planets, which is Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, in earth signs, in water signs, specifically, let's say water signs, you know that you're going to be trapped in your heart center, your emotional center, quite a bit. And you think that would sound good, but you're not just a soul, you're human. There's the other half of you is human. You're hybrid. So you got to take care of what's going on in here as well. So when you find yourself trapped, how do you know when you're trapped in the heart center? You know you're trapped in the heart center when you want to spend an enormous amount of time alone. And not because you're at peace and you don't need the interaction of other people to feed your ego. You want to spend a lot of time alone because you have anxieties, fears. The interactions with other people is overwhelming. You find yourself coming home exhausted emotionally. Usually people with a lot of heart center are in jobs that are heart centered, where you serve those that suffer, where you serve the situations that are serving in the suffering field. So for instance, you could work in a hospital. You're not necessarily a nurse or a doctor or a caretaker of sorts, but you may be an ambulance driver, or you may work in the office area, or administration, or the front desk, or reception. Okay, but there's a lot of suffering, a lot of emotional suffering energy around you, even though you don't have direct contact with it. If you have a heart-centered job, you could be a therapist or a counselor. You may even be an artist, creative. And usually those are more imbalanced with their heart-centered. They're heart center and mind center. They don't mind being alone. In fact, they enjoy being alone because that way they can be enveloped by the essence of their mind and their heart. And many of them have hobbies and crafts and walks. They sit in meditation for long hours in a day. They're not rushing for the need of the material world in any way. I can't say I'm 100% there, but I'm getting close. I'm closer than I was. Let's put it that way. And I'm living with less, not more. Now, some people might consider that selfish or needy, because when we live on less, we do depend on the generosity of others. I should say depend. That's not a right word. We interact with the generosity of others and in gratitude for it as well. But you got to be really careful of the demon called guilt when you live on less, because then you got to accept help, accept connection with others, sometimes support, all of this in gratitude, and not feel like you have imposter syndrome or guilty or that you're not worthy. And that's the energy that we're in right now. And that's how I started off with this 10-part series. But you can use this energy anytime. And that is to have value for yourself, to be of value to who you are. Now, there's 1,000 different parts of who you are. You may value some and not others. That's okay. In fact, I would encourage you to make a list of as many parts of your personality as you can. If you do a discovery reading on Askhollyhall.com, I can do that for you. And literally just ask me that in the comments. Can you make me a list of all of my personality traits in order? Because there is an order. There is a hierarchy. There are ones that stand out more than others. Let's go back to the original part 2, episode 2 of the series of 10, the heart and the mind. And how do we navigate to? We gave you the breathing exercise. We gave you the second exercise of let's put down a list of all of your different personality traits. And if you dare, beside that list, write H or M. Is it your mind that's leading that? Or is it your heart that's leading it? Or is it both? You might put both. So for instance, I have a pet peeve. And I know that this pet peeve is a reaction that is derived from my mind. And that pet peeve that's derived from my mind, I would write down what part of that, what is that pet peeve coming from? What character trait? And that's my activism, my humanitarianism, and also my understanding where the world is going around monetary system, which is also my activism. So beside that, I would put MM. My activism, I may put H. For my humanitarianism, I may put H. But H is definitely secondary because it wouldn't be a pet peeve if it was just in my heart center. It would be an understanding, it would be an awareness, it would be an observation, but it wouldn't bug me when I see it displayed in situations. How can we continue that flow of the mind, heart center? Observation. That's it. Awareness. When you react, when you're hurt, when you feel abandoned, when you feel lost, when you're frustrated, when you're mad, ask yourself, where is this coming from? Why am I reacting? Look at me reacting. Look at me getting all mad and angry and frustrated. That's all you have to do is observe it. It's quite fascinating in my work how I see that observation is enough. It's just enough to get the wheels rolling, turning, to create change. So you've got enough practice here. This is the end of episode 2. And in episode 3, we're going to talk about the individual heart and the individual mind. And we're also going to bring an astrological twist to this as well. We will talk about what you can do to strengthen the heart center and the 2 hemispheres of the mind, because the mind, the one hemisphere, is much stronger connection to the heart than the other hemisphere. So we'll take a look at that next.